One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. So let me be. From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart steel and a spirit unbroken. He rides on two wheels ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar. Insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow. He takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Rituals report and paves his way. More legend in the making, day by day.
Man, happy freaking Monday. Hopefully everyone enjoyed themselves over the weekend and was safe out there. Much love and respect. As well as staying warm out there. I definitely hear that there's lots of places still that are frozen, so I feel terrible for my brothers that are going through it. Because it is fairly nice weather here in northern Alabama, at least today, you know. So anyways, listen, we've got a lot to catch up on. Obviously, the weekends always are jam-packed of news that we have to now do kind of a little bit of catch-up on Monday morning. So we may end up being about an hour and 15 minutes this morning. Just depends. We'll see. Now, the way that I have this labeled for this morning, Nancy Guthrie latest as well as U.S. and Iran updates, Greenland latest, Winter Olympics, of course, and top stories. Now, obviously, I can't condense everything onto, into one title. So let's go ahead and read off what we're going to be looking at this morning for. So we've got White House officials targeted by masked man with gun, police say. Now, I do believe this happened on Friday. It may have happened actually on Saturday, but I can't really remember if it happened late Friday or if it happened early Saturday. Of course, we're going to find all of that out here in a few. As well as Zelensky gave an update. Zelensky says U.S. gave Ukraine, Russia, meaning both Zelensky gave Ukraine and Russia and the United States a deadline to end the fucking war.
Bruh.
Now, I'm not really sure how Zelensky has any kind of say or like this is when the deadline. You're kind of in the worst shitty position, so I'm not really sure why you get to, tell people what the deadline is. But nonetheless, we have that update for you guys. Then we have a SWAT standoff that did happen in Atlanta. Officers hurt in Atlanta shooting, suspect barricaded. It says 2 Atlanta officers were ambushed while responding to a, quote, shots fired call at an apartment complex Saturday morning. The suspect is currently in a barricade standoff with SWAT after an exchange of gunfire with arriving officers. Now, mind you, officers were hurt in this whole ordeal, so I'm not sure if they actually got hurt in a physical altercation or like obviously a firearm. I'm not really sure on those details. We're going to find that out together here in a few. Now, we're going to move into Ohio man charged with threatening to kill Vice President Vance. What the fuck are these people doing threatening the Vice President of the United States, his life? Why? Why would you do that? It's like, it sounds like self-sabotage to me. All right, then we have Lindsey Vonn airlifted after crashing an Olympic downhill, which some of you guys may have saw that on social media because it was a humongous story that was going on. She got airlifted, and I'm not really sure of her conditions quite yet, to be honest. The last I heard about it was when it happened. So when she was actually being flown, that's the last I saw about it. But we do have that update for you guys. And then we have authorities examine apparent manhole at Nancy Guthrie's residence. Now, there's a lot of weird shit that we're finding out about the residence of Nancy Guthrie. There's a whole bunch of things that were happening that is just odd to say the least, I guess. But we've been following it quite a bit. Anyways, we have Greenland latest as well. U.S. senators deliver remarks during visit. Now, it's, I believe, 4 senators from the United States. One of them is from Maine. One of them is from Michigan. I forget where the other 2 are from, but it's up there in the northern region anyways. And so I thought it was kind of funny watching that happen. Let's see what else we have here. We have Epstein probe. We have Maxwell to testify before Congress. Yo, dude, that's... Oh, shit! Let's see how that goes, because all I can pretty much guarantee that's going to happen is she's going to go up there and go, I plead the fifth. I mean, but the thing is, I don't know if you can plead the fifth while you're... I don't really know the logistics behind that exact thing, but I'm pretty sure that she's going to end up just pleading the fifth, you know. We're going to follow these stories, of course, but don't get your hopes up too much about any of those kind of things, right? Then we have Vice President Vance visits Armenia, a first for U.S. leadership. Now, I didn't know that was kind of like a first ordeal that's happened over there in Armenia. It says Vice President J.D. Vance landed in Armenia on Monday, which is today, by the way, a country that no sitting U.S. Vice President or President has visited before, as the Trump administration looks to advance a U.S. brokered deal aimed at ending a decades-long conflict with Azerbaijan. I don't know the name of that country, but I'll go ahead and, I can't pronounce it, but I'll go ahead and put it in the chat for you guys so you guys at least know what name of the country that is. I just can't pronounce it, so I'm just too retarded. Anyways, let's go ahead and do our call to actions real quick, and then we're going to get right into all these stories. That's our lineup for the morning. Please make sure you guys come in and hit that like button. It helps out the show immensely, and it's free to do so. If you guys are on the vertical side, make sure you guys double tap that screen because it helps the show out a lot, obviously. If you guys are obviously new here, hit that subscribe button because this is what we do Monday through Friday. And then Saturday morning, we have our members only, man. It's a great time. But let's go ahead and get the money part over with. Please consider becoming a member starting only at $3.99 a month. Making sure we're not breaking the bank out there with anybody, but check it out. This is what allows us to be on these airwaves as well as have these lights on. So I very much appreciate you guys becoming members and staying members. Little side note, here we've got my Instagram. Hold on, I don't know why the timer thing, it always does that with me. There's a new fucking timer thing on these things. Anyways, follow my Instagram at BallValveTV, where I post everything behind the scenes of not only my life, but as well as the show, Millennial Food Time, breaking news, as well as the campaign trail, man. I very much appreciate you guys hitting me up over there. It's a great way to get a hold of me. And we also have a Discord server for all of you legends as well. We have like 95% of you guys in there. We need to make that number 100%. So if you don't get that from a mod, make sure you guys go down into the video description down below, and it has all the links for, let's say, Discord, Instagram, all those kind of things, man. And last but not least, all super chats, super stickers, gifted memberships, and membership signups are, of course, all going to be presented live and shouted out onto the show. But if you guys would like to skip that YouTube 30% brutal cut that they take from your hard-earned cash, we have these platforms right here that you guys can donate to at any time. And I'll read it out loud just like a super chat, and I get to keep 100% of the proceeds, man. So I very much appreciate you guys. All right, good morning to everybody. I see you all in here. Thank you for hanging out with us this morning. We've got a lot of you legends, so I'm going to have to do my best here just to get through this real quick because we've got a big morning. We got Miss Lotus as well as Prez. Good morning. We've got Alfred Patterson as well as Rabbit of Chaos. Good morning to you. We got Sudden and Brother Steve Easy. We got Mountain Woman as well as Joseph. Great to see you. And we got Naomi hanging out with us. We got Fatty in the building. Shout out to my man. Hopefully you're enjoying your Monday morning so far. Well, actually for you, it's not Monday morning. It's probably Monday afternoon at this point. Maybe even early evening. We got Frank in the building as well as Jimmy Mack. You guys see Lucy. Yeah, she is roaming around having a good time this morning, it looks like. We got Sosa as well. Good morning. We got TVT as well. Good morning to you guys. You ain't retarded, brother. You just don't speak good. Sand people. That's true. That's true. I definitely do not. Is your channel about music? It is not. I mean, I have some music. I've performed with many of bans and stuff, even toward. But this channel is not about that. It's actually about world news, geopolitics, American news, American politics, all that stuff. So we condense everything into a single hour. That's what we do here. We got Tiffany as well. Good morning. Great to see you, by the way. And happy birthday to Brother Lee Lance. It's awesome. And that's right, Naomi. It is breaking news channel as well as news updates. Yes. And yeah, thank you for the phonetic spelling, or I guess whatever. Thank you for that, TVT. I very much appreciate it. Like and subscribe to the best goddamn channel on YouTube. I agree with that sentiment, by the way. All right, let's go ahead and get into this. We got a big morning. We've got to get moving here. Let's do this. Now, the first few stories actually are very short. It's like 2-minute segment, 3-minute segment, then a 4-minute segment, which is very quick.
It's Josh Breslow, and I want to get you back to a developing story that we are following here at this hour. Take a look at your screen as a Maryland man accused of showing up at the home of the White House Office of Management and Budget Director, Russ Vought, armed with a gun, reportedly told federal agents that he feared a, quote, fascist takeover by President Trump. The information, including those alleged remarks reported by the New York Post and other media outlets, the Arlington County Police Department in Virginia releasing that photo right there on the right-hand side of your screen, showing Colin DeMarco. He is the suspect, saying the 26-year-old is charged with attempted...
Colin DeMarco, not Colin DeMarco, not Don DeMarco. Where's Don DeMarco?
Don DeMarco.
There he is. Shit.
Murder, criminal solicitation to commit murder, carrying a concealed weapon, and wearing a mask in public to conceal identity. Police say they responded to Vought's home back in August of last year after a witness reported seeing a man wearing a surgical mask and rubber gloves, carrying a backpack, and appearing to conceal a gun under his shirt on Vought's porch. All of this reportedly captured on home surveillance video. However, that video has not been made public at this point. Not sure if that is going to change. Now, during the investigation...
What's up, JS Urban Adventures? My man, great to see you in the chat, bro. Hopefully you're enjoying your Monday morning so far. Definitely know that we are over here. Great to see you, bro.
The Arlington County Police Department says it served search warrants for digital records that were associated with that suspect, finding evidence that he searched for directions to Vought's home, had a guide detailing how to cover up criminal detection, and had online discussions attempting to solicit others to murder Vought.
It sounds about right. What, they were on Signal chat, you know, like they're Antifa, fucks love to be and organize and shit. Yeah, that, or Discord. Discord's also one of them that they use.
For him. Now, according to a criminal complaint that was obtained by the New York Post, DeMarco allegedly told agents that President Trump's victory on election night was, quote, the lowest point in his life, end quote, and that he feared, quote, impending war and a fascist takeover.
What's up, brother Bob up there in Canada? Shout out to my man. Good morning.
DeMarco, as of right now, is being held in jail at this point over in Arlington County. And
here's an update.
Also being held, we're told, without bond. And you can see the side-by-side right here from the New York Post as they say Maryland man fearing, quote, fascist takeover allegedly showed up armed to OMBD Director Russell Vought's home. We'll keep you updated here as we get additional details. And if we get...
Well, that's what my job is to be able to present that to you guys when they, you know, when details arise, then that's what we do. We continue and we do our best to, you know, continue any of the stories that we have been following. Of course, we do our best to follow up to figure out how that whole storyline is going. Anyways, we're going to move on into an odd thing that I think it's odd. Maybe not the rest of the world. Maybe you guys don't, but I think it's a little odd. Zelensky from Ukraine says U.S. gave Ukraine. Oh, so it does say it says U.S. gave. I thought he was given the demand. Like Zelensky was given the deadline for U.S., Russia, and Ukraine. I'm like, you ain't really in the position to be making those head honcho shots, you know? But I misread it, to be clear. So Zelensky says U.S. gave Ukraine and Russia a deadline to their war. So let's go ahead and bring that up. I'm actually glad that I misunderstood that because I was like, how does that dynamic work?
Good morning. Welcome in here to Live Now from Fox. I'm your host, Christy Matino. It is Saturday, February 7th. Thank you so much for joining us. We do start off with some breaking news as it relates to the Russia-Ukraine war. President Volodymyr Zelensky is saying the United States has given Ukraine and Russia a June deadline to reach a deal to end the nearly 4-year war as Russian strikes on energy infrastructure forced nuclear power plants to cut output today. If that June deadline is not met, the Trump administration will likely put pressure on both sides to meet it. Here's a quote from Zelensky. He said, the Americans are proposing the parties end the war by the beginning of this summer and will probably put pressure on the parties precisely according.
What's up? We got Rob's neighbor in the building, a.k.a. Kerry. Shout out to my man. Good morning. Great to see you.
Into this schedule. He then goes on to say, and they say that they want to do everything by June, and they will do everything to end the war, and they want a clear schedule of all events. He said the U.S. proposed holding the next round of trilateral talks next week in their country for the first time, likely in Miami. Zelensky said, we confirmed our participation. Russian strikes on Ukrainian energy infrastructure continued with over 400 drones and about 4.
Okay, this is great, but what's the deadline? Ukrainian President Zelensky says the U.S. has given Russia and Ukraine a deadline to reach an agreement to end the war. Why didn't you say in the description when that deadline is? Now I've got to listen to blabber before we get to it.
40 missiles launched overnight on Saturday. We do have a post there that I wanted to show you from Zelensky. Targets included the energy grid, generation facilities, and
Richard, that would be me, kind sir.
Distribution networks. The state energy transmission operator said the attack was the second mass strike on energy infrastructure since the start of the year, forcing nuclear power plants to reduce output. 8 facilities in 8 regions came under attack. Now, as a result of missile strikes on key high voltage.
I still don't see where that deadline is on this, but real quick, we got Dylan Patterson as well. Good morning. Great to see you in the chat, by the way. Hopefully you're enjoying your Monday morning, as well as Motobomb Virginia's in here as well. Good morning. Great to see you. You know Mike, or Mike knows you. No, most people. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to. I'll reserve myself.
Substations that ensured the output of nuclear power units. All nuclear power plants in the territories under control were forced to reduce their load. That's according to a statement there. It said the power deficit in the country has increased significantly as a result of the attacks, forcing an extension of hourly power outages in all regions of Ukraine. This latest deadline follows U.S. brokered trilateral talks in Abu Dhabi that produced no breakthrough as both parties are holding on to mutually exclusive demands. Russia is pressing Ukraine to withdraw from the Donbas, where fighting remains intense, a condition that Kyiv says it will never accept. So once again, we're following this breaking news here as Zelensky now saying the U.S. gave Ukraine and Russia this June deadline to end the war. But I did want to provide some more.
It's a June deadline. That's okay. So I thought we were going to get like an exact date, you know, like June 1st or June 15th deadline. That's why I was so specific on trying to figure that out. But as far as we know, they're only reporting June deadline. Okay.
Context here, because even as peace talks continue, Russia is escalating its air attacks on Ukraine. But on Friday, the Ukrainians may have pushed back with a daring assassination attempt on a high-ranking Russian general. Fox News senior foreign affairs correspondent Greg
Warland, shout out to my man over there in near, you know, you're over there in Washington, so you're over there on the West Coast. Great to see you, bro. We got Dylan Patterson saying, did you watch the Super Bowl, Mike? No, I did not. I did not watch it. Now, have I seen a few clips of the Super Bowl, like the halftime ordeal? Yeah, I did see that on social media. But I don't know, man. I just don't. I'm somebody kind of like the theory of like playing video games on live stream. To me, watching people play freaking sports, I'd rather participate and play the sport. You know, I played soccer as a kid. I played baseball. I did travel ball for basketball for like 5 years until everyone outgrew me. I did football, did all sorts of, ice hockey. I did travel ice hockey for a few years. Actually, it was like 5 years. But nonetheless, I'd rather actually participate in it than to watch it, you know? Same thing with the video game theory with the live streaming. Some people are like, why would you watch someone play a video game? Why wouldn't you just play the video game yourself? You know, it's kind of that theory. Anyways.
Halkett has more.
Sorry.
In this morning.
Following 2 days of long-awaited peace talks between the U.S., Ukraine, and Russia, Russia's deputy military intelligence chief faced an attempted assassination in Moscow, an act sowing further division between the two countries.
This terrorist attack once again confirmed the Zelensky regime's focus on constant provocations aimed at disrupting the negotiation process.
It comes as civilians are suffering across Ukraine, as attacks on the country's energy sector has left many without heat and electricity.
Yeah, Steve, did you hear about the guy that did a neck tattoo of Super Bowl? It was like a whole thing. Like, it could be AI, I don't know, but Super Bowl 2026, and it was Patriots and shit. I was like, oh, there's no way. And he did that, you know, prior to the Super Bowl. I was like, oh shit, dude. Could you imagine?
And it's not just power plants. Some of those strikes hit a dog shelter, killing 13 dogs and leaving more injured.
We do not have electricity. There is very little heat. At night, I sleep under a thick blanket, a wool blanket, and another blanket. It is cold.
Meanwhile, hundreds of prisoners were exchanged between the two countries on Friday, offering a sliver of hope for some.
That's right, KP.
My husband's name is Ruslan. I waited for him to return from captivity for 3 years and 10 months, and today he is finally coming home.
But hopes for peace? No breakthrough was reported in the talks brokered by the U.S. Experts say territorial disagreements and security guarantees were top of mind for negotiators.
We've had prisoner exchange many times in the past, and they have not led to a peace agreement.
The last remaining nuclear treaty between the U.S. and Russia expired on Thursday. President Trump says he plans to replace.
And we did make a whole stink about that whole thing, that nuclear whole thing was ending Thursday. It was like, oh shit, that shit is tomorrow kind of thing. But yeah, they say that Trump has a plan with that. We'll see. I mean, of course. But Carney, great to see you in the chat, bro. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning so far. All right, we're gonna move on. We had this SWAT standoff that happened over the weekend in Atlanta, and according to the title here, officers are hurt in Atlanta shooting. Suspect barricaded. So this is like a big standoff that is happening. We're going to go ahead and see. There is a small update on this. It's not like a whole 20-minute ordeal. This is a 2-minute or 3-minute update. So let's go ahead and see what we've got on this.
My name is Josh Breslow, and I want to get you to some breaking news that we are following here because
Atlanta.
On the right-hand side of your screen, that is a live look coming in from
Brother
our
Papa Penguin.
Atlanta team.
Good morning.
As we have learned that 2 officers were injured and a standoff underway after a shooting that took place.
Yeah, with combat sports, honestly, I'd rather just watch that shit.
Place over in the city of Atlanta. All of this, as you can see there on your screen, is ongoing. And what I want to do is take that live image full, again, coming in from our Fox 5 Atlanta team. Here is what we know. 2 Atlanta police officers injured in that shooting after responding to reports of gunfire. That information from Atlanta police. Now, we're told the officers were, quote-unquote, immediately fired upon when they arrived at an apartment complex in the 2400 block of Cheshire Bridge Road Northeast. That was around 8 a.m. local time, so just a few hours ago. Now, one officer, we're told, was grazed by a bullet. Another sustained laceration, so cuts there during that ambush. Both officers transported to a local hospital, and we are officially told now by Atlanta police that they are expected to survive their injuries. Police confirmed officers returned fire, though it's currently unknown if the suspect was actually hit. But at last check here, the suspect does remain barricaded in.
Hold on. Hot take. I'm going to give you guys my hot take on the whole halftime show. Both sides of the equation sucked. Get better. Get better. We have a lot of talent in the United States, and you got fucking Kid Rock up there. I mean, Jesus.
Side of an apartment that is according to Atlanta police at this hour. Now, we know that Fox 5 Caitlin Pratt reported there was this massive law enforcement presence at the scene, and that includes SWAT teams and armored vehicles. And as you can see there, it looks like they are being kept back. But based on the black bars that you can see on the right and left-hand side of your screen, it looks as though we are using a cell phone there to get a good image of that. Again, all of this is developing at this hour, so that barricade situation still officially underway. And this is the advisory here just put out by the Atlanta Police Department. It kind of goes over the information that we know so far. Saturday, that's today, approximately 8 o'clock, Atlanta police responded to shots fired.
Real quick, before he says that what the Atlanta police responded with. We got Wicked Wally in the chat, my man. Good morning. Great to see you in the chat, my man, as well as hopefully you're enjoying your Monday morning.
There at Cheshire Bridge Road Northeast. They arrived to that apartment. Officers immediately met with gunfire, ambushed, and one officer was grazed. The other sustained cuts. Officers were able to return fire, and this is currently a barricade.
So one officer was grazed. That's brutal, and then other sustained lacerations. And then it says officers were able to return fire. This is currently a barricaded gunman situation.
Damn. The scene's still very active as the investigation continues. No question here. The public is urged to avoid this area as the investigation and situation still remains very active. Now, again, a live look coming in from our Fox 5 Atlanta team right now as there is this heavy police presence. We know 2 officers were injured.
Now, unfortunately, we don't have any other update on this whole ordeal. I looked for it. I was looking to see if they were going to give any other type of update, but I'm sure they went in there and got the dude and arrested him or whatever the case is. But we have to move on. That's the information that we've got currently. Ohio man charged with threatening to kill Vice President Vance. What the fuck? That is not good for your health nor for your freedom to be threatening anybody. Why? Why would you be doing that?
Welcome back here on Live Now from Fox. It's 1:30.
Oh, you know what? We haven't even done the money part because we've been zooming this morning. All right, let's get the money part over.
All right, just get the money part done.
Give me money. Money me. Money now. Me a money needing a lot now.
It's true, though.
Denied.
Here we go.
13 on the East Coast and 10:13 on the West Coast. My name is Josh Breslow, and I'll be here for the next hour or so to break down all of your top stories and live events from across the country and across the world. Right now, I do want to get you to a developing story involving this man and Vice President J.D. Vance. Now, we got a release that came in from the Department of Justice right here, and I'm going to read it for you as we take a look at this booking photo coming in from the Lucas County Corrections Center. While investigating alleged threats, the DOJ says federal agents discovered several...
What's up, Are We Not Men? Hopefully you're enjoying your Monday morning so far.
...files of child sexual abuse materials in the suspect's possession.
Oh, hell no. What the fuck? Man, it's always some fucking super weirdo, bro. Ohio man charged with threatening to kill Vice President Vance, but first thing they go to is kid stuff. Man, this is... Let me back it up so you guys can hear that.
Investigating alleged threats, the DOJ says federal agents discovered several files of child sexual abuse materials in the suspect's possession. Now, a federal grand jury returned an indictment earlier this week charging a 33-year-old man with threatening to kill the vice president of the U.S. during his visit to Ohio back in January, so just last month. Now, we're told that Shannon Mather, who is seen in that...
Hell yeah, Cameron. I very much appreciate that. Shout out to Kansas City, Missouri, by the way. Very much appreciate that. Steve, yeah, we can use mine, homie. We can use mine. I'm cool with it. We got Chrono in the building. Shout out to Chronos. Hopefully you're enjoying your Monday morning so far as well.
That photo right there is accused of making a threat to take the life of and inflict bodily harm upon a successor to the presidency in violation of a code there. In the indictment, he allegedly stated, quote, "I am going to find out where he," talking about the vice president, "is going to be and use my M14 automatic gun and kill him," end quote. Mather was arrested by the U.S. Secret Service.
Shout out to New Mexico, by the way. I see you in the chat.
Agents just yesterday on February 6th. Now, the grand jury further charges that from about December 31st of last year to January 21st of this year, he was all...
Yeah, this honestly, this guy needs the treatment. Just saying. Real quick, we got Jack Talcott in the building. Shout out to my man. Hopefully you're enjoying your Monday morning as well. I definitely know that we are. And great to have you in the chat, bro.
Also engaged in the receipt and distribution of images that visually depict minors engaged in sexually explicit conduct while investigating the threats allegedly made against the vice president. Federal agents discovered several digital files, they say, of child sexual abuse materials in the suspect's possession. Pam Bondi putting out a statement saying, quote, "Our attorneys are vigorously prosecuting this disgusting threat against Vice President Vance. You can hide behind a screen, but you cannot hide from this Department of Justice."
Damn. Real quick, we got $2 coming in from my boy Alfred Patterson, by the way. On the Cash App saying, "For Wake and Bake." Yes, sir. You know we're getting down. Thank you very much for making it rain in the chat, bro. Here we go. We're ready. Shit. We got the shit. All right. Let's get back to this.
We also heard from the Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche saying, quote, while arresting this man for allegedly threatening to murder the vice president of the U.S., a serious crime in and of itself. Federal law enforcement discovered that he was also in possession of child sexual abuse materials. Thank you to federal, state, and local partners in working together to bring justice twofold to this depraved individual. Popping this up on your screen right here, coming in from Todd Blanche. That is the entire post that we were just reading from. He again said thank you to federal, state, and local partners in working together to bring justice twofold to this depraved individual. Mather made his initial appearance before a U.S. magistrate judge for the Northern District of Ohio yesterday and remains in custody pending a detention hearing set for next week. That is going to be February 11th. Now, if found guilty as charged, Mather faces a maximum penalty of 5 years in prison and a maximum statutory fine of about $250,000 for threatening the life of Vice President Vance.
Yeah, this is such a weird ordeal, dude. Fucking, like I said, the guy needs treatment.
Faces a maximum of 20 years in prison and a statutory fine of $250,000 if found guilty of the child sexual photos they are charged as well. We know this is all under investigation here, so we're going to continue to follow it and bring you updates as we get it. But again, Fox News posting breaking. The Secret Service has arrested an Ohio man accused.
Real quick, we got my man Virginia Chaos in the chat. Good morning. Great to see you, bro. I very much appreciate that. All right, we're going to move on into Lindsey Vonn, airlifted after crashing in Olympic downhill. Now, I'm sure that you guys may have saw that on social media, if you guys partake in social media. It was kind of big news. So the last update that I had of the whole thing was when she was actually physically in the air, being airlifted at that moment, was the last update that I actually saw myself. Now, the mainstream media did report on this, obviously. So let's go ahead and bring this part up and see what they talk about here and if we have any details.
I do want to head back over to some more breaking news, though, that we are covering from throughout this morning. Take a look at this as we are still following the latest regarding U.S. Olympic skier Lindsey Vonn, as Fox News today tweeting out, breaking, Olympic icon Lindsey Vonn crashed during the women's alpine downhill event at the Winter Games after suffering a ruptured ACL earlier this week. Emergency crews transported her off the mountain by helicopter. Want to put up here on your screen some footage of the Olympic skier as we follow more of the reporting and details on this incident from earlier today. The Associated Press saying this, that Lindsey Vonn crashed early in the women's downhill, dashing hopes of an Olympic medal at the Milan Cortina.
What the hell does that even mean?
Olympics today.
Are we not, man?
The 41-year-old American tore the ACL in her left knee just 9 days ago. Vonn lost control over the opening traverse after cutting the line too tight and was spun around in the air. She was heard screaming out after the crash as she was surrounded by medical personnel before she was strapped to a gurney and flown away by a helicopter, possibly ending the skier's storied career. The Associated Press has been providing live updates as we follow these developments, so I'm going to read to you a couple of the blurbs that they have on their article. They say that a mandatory safety airbag inflated under Vonn's racing suit during the crash. The supplier of that airbag confirmed to the Associated Press. The airbag, which is triggered by a complicated algorithm when racers lose control, may have softened her fall. Scrolling through here, more of this reporting, and going back to this, the Olympic legend was attempting to medal in the event despite that devastating knee injury she suffered while at the World Cup. She made clear in subsequent social media posts that her ACL was, quote, 100% gone. An ACL tear normally involves a recovery that lasts about a year, but Vonn planned to fight through it. She made a stunning comeback to the sport last year after nearly 6 years away from competition. Her return followed a partial titanium replacement.
Man, that's fucking terrible.
Inserted into her right knee, which she had in 2024.
Damn, she had a previous fucking gnarly injury, huh?
The Team USA legend is the second most successful woman in World Cup history with 84 wins. She has won 8 World Championship medals. Vonn won a gold medal in the downhill and a bronze medal in the Super G at the 2010 Vancouver Olympic Games and a bronze medal.
What's up, Kel, up there in Canada? Have you still not fixed your YouTube account yet? Shit, bro. Great to see you in the chat, though.
In the downhill
Good morning.
at the 2018 Games, and she hoped to add to her collection in Italy today. She was set to compete in the women's Super G as well, but the crash may very well keep her out of that event. We're still waiting to get more details on Vonn's condition at this time, but this is what we know so far based on several outlets that have been reporting on this story. As a U.S. Olympic skier, Lindsey Vonn had to be airlifted after crashing in the Olympic downhill event.
Yeah, that totally fucking blows. All right, well, and unfortunately, we don't have any other update on her other than that, just that. So, anyways, authorities examine apparent manhole at Nancy Guthrie's residence. Let's go ahead and see what they've got out of this, but quickly, let's embrace our fuck-ups.
Don't beat yourself up over past mistakes. You are going to fuck up again in the future, quite possibly in a most spectacular fashion. Why worry about yesterday's fuck-ups when you have tomorrow's fuck-ups to look forward to? You are a fuck-up, and fucking up is part of your growth process. Embrace the process.
Definitely embrace the process. You know what I mean? Absolutely. All right, let's move on. We're moving on.
Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. I'm Shauna Kalafi. We are continuing to follow the search for Nancy Guthrie 1 week after her disappearance in Tucson, Arizona. The investigation continuing into the apparent kidnapping of 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie, the mother of Today's Show host Savannah Guthrie. Now, we did get a new update from the Pima County Sheriff just a few hours ago. On X, they said the Nancy Guthrie investigation is ongoing. Follow-up continues at multiple locations. No suspects, persons of interest, or vehicles have been identified, and no scheduled press briefings. If anything significant develops, then a press conference will be called. That's according to the Pima County Sheriff just a few hours ago on X. And we also saw video of the search.
What's up, brother So Loud, over there in the boondocks of North Carolina? Shout out to my man. Good morning.
Search continuing outside of both Nancy's house as well as her daughter Annie Guthrie's house. This is some of that video that the Fox flight team got today. You can see investigators searching what looks like a manhole near.
Yeah, Cal. But there's a lot of shit that doesn't really add up correctly in a lot of this shit. And a lot of it's odd and suspect. Not really sure. There is something that we're missing from this whole story that nobody knows. There's something missing.
Nancy's property. And those cameras capturing, again, searches both at Nancy's property.
And by the way, she's 84 years old.
As well as her daughter, Annie's. This is a live look right now outside of Nancy Guthrie's home and another one outside of her daughter's home where investigators have been again today and for the past several days. So for more on the latest in this investigation, let's bring in a law enforcement expert, Jamie Copenhaver. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Good to be with you, Sean.
So let's start out with the new information that we got today. We have this on X from a Fox News writer saying Fox flight team's drone captured authorities using a pole to probe a manhole located behind Nancy Guthrie's home. So what do you take from this latest?
Why though? Why are they putting interest in this over here on their property?
In the search, that manhole being investigated near Nancy's home. Also, law enforcement continuing to return not only to Nancy's home, but Annie Guthrie's home, her daughter, almost every day this past week. What do you think this could indicate in the progress of the investigation?
It tells me they're certainly not leaving any stone unturned. And, you know, by the mere fact of these investigators going out and removing manhole covers, to run, and by the way, they're running a camera down that manhole to look for items. It could be, it could be an item of the crime. It could be the murder weapon if it was a murder, or it could have been something that was discarded in the toilet that could have been flushed. We just don't know what they're looking for. But the good news is they're leaving no stone unturned to look in these manholes.
And why wouldn't they have looked in this manhole? At least from what we've seen, this appears to be the first time that they've looked at this.
There's a couple of them.
Specific area. What might have led them to uncover this manhole and start looking more deeply into that?
It could have been a tip. It could have been something that the kidnappers may have communicated to Savannah and the family. We don't know. But what we do know is the sheriff has came out and agreed that he released that crime scene
I highly doubt that they communicated anything about these manhole covers, but that's just, I don't know. I can't say anything with conviction because I don't know, right?
Early. So, they had released it back to the family, and shortly thereafter, they came back and rewrote the crime scene. FBI is on the ground. So, the FBI has an amazing evidence collection team. They're there doing a one-on-one investigation, leaving no stone unturned, and the manhole covers would be encompassed in that search. You just don't know if the bad guy may have discarded something or something was perhaps flushed in the system.
Okay,
well, recover some type of.
Well, if it's all speculation, it's just speculation. Then let's see if they have any other. They do have some photos here actually that I haven't really been keen to. So let's go ahead and pop those up real quick. This is Savannah.
They indicate what we understand. There's a consequence connected to the deadline.
Or from Savannah's Facebook. This is her mother, Nancy.
Well, so what that does, it gives law enforcement a little bit more time in that window to work their leads and work their case, because they know they have a second deadline and it's Monday morning, right? So it gives them a little bit more time to amp up their investigation. Time is not, I don't think, is on her side though. If you recall, she's on a pacemaker. She's on heart medicine, other medications that tell me that she has a severe heart ailment, if you will. So, it's unknown if the kidnappers actually took her medicine with them.
Yeah, right.
But we do know that Nancy needs her medicine, so that certainly plays into.
Oh man, that's just fucked. Anyways, sounds like the rest of it's just gonna be speculation, anyways. But I thought that was an interesting development that they're sitting there flipping over manhole covers on her property or whatever. So, or near it, whatever the case is. We're moving on, though. Greenland latest. We have an update. We're not going to play this whole thing because it is lengthy. But we had 4 U.S. senators go over to Greenland today. So theoretically, they flew overnight or whatever the case is, but to be there 3 hours ago to do this. Anyways, let me see if it says... No, it doesn't show the exact positions, but... there's a U.S. senator, 4 of senators, but one is Maine's, one is like Michigan. I forget, there's a couple from up there, but in the northern region. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on into this and figure out exactly what's going on. We can't play this whole thing because it is lengthy, but they are definitely going to be catering to the people of Greenland a little bit here, just a heads up, I guess. All right, here we go.
Taking you out live to Greenland as U.S. senators are now speaking.
Officials we just met with the Prime Minister, meeting with the Foreign Minister later this morning, met with parliamentarians at ICC.
And yes, they will fix the audio.
So we've had a lot of learning on this trip. I should tell you a little bit about who we are. We're 4 senators from the northern tier of states, Alaska, Michigan, New Hampshire, Maine, all of whom have had a long-term and consistent interest in the Arctic and in Greenland, going back before the recent events.
Damn,
this
Jimmy.
is my second trip. Lisa Murkowski has been here so many times they think of her as a local. But I think it's important to emphasize.
What's up, Two-Wheel Jesus? Good morning.
That this is not our first foray into the Arctic.
There we
In
go.
fact,
Thank you.
We have been beating the drum for at least 10 years about the strategic importance of the Arctic in terms of global competition, and that there should be an Arctic strategy, and that we should be working with the nations, the Arctic nations, particularly those that are members of NATO, all of whom are members of NATO, to provide security.
I hate when someone says NATO, like NATO, like nay and then a toe. I don't know why they say it like that.
To the high north. So that's the sort of context of our trip. Secondly, I think it's important that part of our message to the Greenlandic people is respect, and respect for the people of Greenland's integrity, their interest in managing their own affairs.
What's up, Steve Posey? Great to see you in the chat, my man, and good morning.
Their work with the Kingdom of Denmark, and that's an important part of the message that we bring. That many of those, I would say a majority in the United States Congress, as well as our citizens, are very supportive of Greenland. And as I've said repeatedly in the States, if there's a national security interest in Greenland, it does not necessitate acquisition, annexation, invasion, or any other specific control. In order to develop additional national security assets in Greenland, which I think should be the case, all that would have taken was a phone call. It would not take the kind of activity that we've seen over the last several months. I was pleased that the president at Davos took military force off the table, and that we have now entered into a tripartite discussions about the security situation in Greenland and additional partnerships with this country of such huge potential and resilient and magnificent people. So that's the background of our trip. As I say, we've had really excellent meetings.
Now, this is the senator for Maine, and he is an independent. Registered independent. So
I don't want to disparage any of the meetings that we had, but the four of us yesterday took a helicopter trip over the ice sheet, and I have to say that was a lifetime experience for me to see the ice sheet, to see the glaciers, and frankly to see where the glaciers used to be. Which is a demonstration of what's happening in terms of climate. This country is one of the epicenters of climate change, and to have had that experience yesterday and fly back into Nuuk into the sunset was one of the most memorable experiences of my life.
Wow. Real quick, we got Naomi letting us know, yes, if you're on the vertical side, make sure you guys double tap that screen. We've got 125 of you guys in here. If you guys are on the horizontal, though, make sure you guys hit that like button. I very much appreciate that.
So we will take some questions, but all four of us are going to make some statements. My name is
What's up,
Angus
Jack?
King,
Good
by
morning.
the way. I'm a United States Senator from Maine. I'm an independent. I caucus with the Democrats. And look forward to working with my colleagues in Washington and with the administration to develop the kind of positive, mutually respectful relationship with Greenland that comity and the rules-based international order requires. So with that, I will turn it over to my colleague from Alaska. I will tell one story. When I first entered the Senate, being from Maine, which we have, for example, the Icelandic company Eimskip has a major facility in Maine. I said to Senator Murkowski one day, walking over to the Senate chamber, I would like to be the Arctic senator. And Senator Murkowski immediately replied, no, you can be the assistant Arctic senator. So I will introduce the Arctic senator, Senator Murkowski.
Senator King, thank you. Thank you for that. I am Lisa Murkowski. I'm from the state of Alaska, the state that makes the United States.
And by the way, we've got Ronald up in the building. Shout out to my man. Sorry, I was responding to her, and now I see you in here. Great to see you in the chat, my man.
States an Arctic nation, and an Arctic nation that I think has just of late come into its own responsibility for the Arctic. This has been a significant CODEL for my colleagues. As has been mentioned, I've been here in Greenland multiple times, but each time is yet another opportunity to better understand not only the region, not only the geography, but the strength and the resilience of the people. As Senator King mentioned, we had a pretty spectacular day yesterday, about a 10 out of a 10, in our opportunity to see the ice cap. But I could not help but look at this land, this massive, raw, ancient land, without thinking about the people who call this land home and who have for generations and thousands of years, and the resilience of the people. And so to those resilient, strong, amazing people who are now feeling threat and
real quick before she gets into it, we got Mr. in the chat, my man. Good morning. Great to see you, as well as Brother Slim. Good morning to you both, gentlemen, coming in.
Fear from our country, your ally. It hurts my heart. It hurts my heart to know of the anxiety and the concern that you and your families face as you feel this time of unsettledness and what that must mean. We've had very good conversations with fellow parliamentarians, as Senator King mentioned, just with the Prime Minister, shortly with Vivian Motzfeldt, your foreign minister. These have all been important because there has not been a single meeting that we have had where it has been suggested that we don't want to have the United States as a friend and an ally. We do not want additional security. What we want is for these discussions about security to be done with us. Nothing about us without us. There is a reason for the name of your security strategy. And it's not just
nothing with nothing. What was the exact quote? I don't need to hear that again.
Is for these discussions about security to be done with us. Nothing about us without us. There is a reason for the name.
Nothing with us without us.
Of your security strategy. And it's not just about defense, it's about all aspects of your security. And so recognizing the sovereignty, recognizing the autonomy of the Greenlandic people is something that we have an obligation as your friend and your ally to work towards addressing. There is no relationship, personal, business, or otherwise, that comes easy, that comes without work. In just a few sentences and words, trust that has been built since World War II has been eroded and degraded. We need to work to rebuild that trust. That's why you see members of Congress that are here to remind you that, yes, our president may make certain statements, but we also, as Congress, have a role. We have a system of checks and balances. So how we exercise that, I think, is important for Greenlanders to know as well, whether it is through the power of appropriations and authorizing or not authorizing spending, whether it is the value of exchanges that is so important in understanding one another. Know that your Congress, our Congress, has a role in how we move forward with our friends in Greenland. I will end with one comment. We talk a lot about the transatlantic alliance and what that means from a NATO perspective and how important it is to continue that. I think more of the alliance as being a trans-Arctic alliance and what we as Arctic nations can be doing as we build the strength and security that benefits Greenland, that benefits the Kingdom of Denmark, that benefits Alaska and the United States. There is a shared interest that we must work together towards, and it begins and it ends with constructive, respectful dialogue.
Yeah, for sure, definitely a rhino.
And I'll now turn to my colleague, Senator Peters.
Thank you. I'm Gary Peters, Senator from Michigan. This is my first trip to Greenland.
That's so funny, Kel, because I saw every single comment that you left, by the way. I know that you were trying to get around something, but I saw every single fucking one of them. So,
and I'll concur with my colleagues. It's been just an amazing trip. Not only a beautiful country, but the people that we've had a chance to meet and get to know have treated us like family, and I believe it is mutual. I mentioned I come from Michigan. I will just say, for the record, it's actually colder in Michigan than it is in Greenland here now. So I wanted to escape the cold of Michigan to come north, and it has been a...
No, they're not all rhinos. Look, the guy that's speaking right now, that's Gary Peters. He's the Democrat senator for Michigan, for instance. And then there's the independent senator for Maine, and that was the only Republican so far that spoke.
A fabulous experience. In Washington, I serve as a ranking member on the Homeland Security Committee. I'm also a member of the Armed Services Committee. So every morning when I wake up, I think about trying to keep the United States and the American people secure. And when we think about security, to me, there are really three core elements that keep us secure. One, we need to have a strong economy. We want to be financially secure. We want a strong military to keep us secure. But the third element is absolutely essential, and that means we have to have friends. You can't just have two of the three. You need all three. You need a strong military, you need a strong economy, and you need friends. And the people of Greenland are our friends. The people of Denmark are our friends. And when you have friends, you respect that relationship, you trust each other, and that's what we have to do as a country. Unfortunately, we have a president that has broken that trust.
Oh my God, cry harder. Jesus.
I think in a significant way. And we now...
I hate when our Congress goes across and goes to even let's just say an enemy territory, let's say allies, whatever, and you talk shit about our president like that. That doesn't look good on us, bro.
I'll have to repair it. And that's why the four of us ventured up here for this trip is to show that we care.
Johnny Reno, my man, good morning to you. Great to see you in the chat, and happy Monday morning.
About the relationship between the people of Greenland and the people of the United States. We consider you friends. We want you to consider us your friend. We know that trust has been stressed, and now it's our opportunity to build that trust once again so that we can continue to have this strong friendship. So this is a first step, one of many steps. But my message to the people of Greenland, know that you have many friends in the United States. In fact, the vast majority of Americans believe that you are indeed our friends, and we need to treat you with the respect and trust that we know each of you deserve. I'll now hand it over to Maggie Hassan from New Hampshire.
Thank you. Well, as Gary said, I'm Maggie Hassan, Senator from New Hampshire. It is also colder in New Hampshire right now than it is in Greenland. First of all, just to the Greenlandic people, to all our hosts here, thank you for your hospitality. It becomes very clear, and this too is my first visit to Greenland, when you get here, how strong, how resilient, how warm, and how creative the people of this wonderful country are. And so we are very grateful for the welcome we've received. I will echo what my colleagues have said. I serve on the Homeland Security Committee as well, and I would analyze what...
This is the senator for New Hampshire, by the way. She's also a Democrat.
It takes to be a secure nation, just the way my colleague Senator Peters just did. But I think it's really important to for the Greenlandic people to know that I come from a state known for its citizen participation. Some of you may have heard of the first in the nation New Hampshire primary. We are a small but mighty state of 1.4 million people, but we have 400 state representatives at the state level. And that is because we believe that every citizen has a role to play, and we take our civic duty very, very seriously. And what I want you all to know is that from every corner of my state, from every political perspective, including people who are not at all politically aligned with me, what I am hearing is Greenland is our friend. Why would the president say what he is saying? Please, Senator, do everything you can to convey to the people of Greenland that we are friends, and we are deeply, deeply concerned and disturbed by what our president has said.
Oh my God. Fucking cry me a river, lady. Jesus fucking Christ. Please just get it over with.
Bruh. I tell you that because I want the people of Greenland to know how my constituents feel and how almost all Americans that we are speaking to feel.
Yo, don't speak for us. Real quick, I got a question.
Why are you gay?
Just asking.
But I also tell you that because there's a famous saying in the United States.
Definitely.
The most important and difficult political job is that of private citizen. And the citizens of the United States are mobilizing on this issue as well as many others in a way I haven't seen in decades. And they are mobilizing because they understand right now that they need to reach out and they need to create the bonds of friendship and the bonds of freedom that have joined Greenland and the United States now for 80 years. And I will close with this. I'm the daughter of a World War II veteran, as is Senator Peters. My dad taught me that freedom was everything. He survived the Battle of the Bulge.
This lady don't know shit. Man, this she can't relate or talk about none of this shit, man. Just, I hate when they use this for political gains.
For having survived it, but also with a deep understanding of how important freedom is and how important it is that we are all determined to preserve it. And I know you all are too. That's what...
So loud, I got it again. Jesus.
And that's why we're going to move forward together, work to repair the trust that has been broken, find new partnerships and new ways of working together so that we can all be strong and free together. Thank you.
All right. That is ridiculous. We're moving on. We got an Epstein probe, Maxwell, to testify before Congress. Now, I'm gonna safely assume that she will go up there and plead the fifth, and that is about it. That's about all that's pretty much going to happen. That's my guesstimate. Okay? So, anyways, get this update in.
Thanks for staying with us here at Live Now from Fox. And I do want to provide a bit of a programming note for later on today. A major story that we're following very closely is, of course, all the developments having to do with the case against Jeffrey Epstein. Given the fact that just a couple of weeks ago, the Department of Justice released a new batch of files on that investigation. And happening today, we do know that Ghislaine Maxwell, who is serving time in prison for being an accomplice of Jeffrey Epstein, she is going to be appearing for a virtual deposition. Reuters saying this, that Jeffrey Epstein associate Ghislaine Maxwell intends to refuse to answer questions at a deposition today before the House's Committee on Oversight and Government Reform, according to a letter that they received on Sunday from U.S. Representative Ro Khanna. Maxwell, who was found guilty in 2021 for her role in helping Epstein sexually abuse teenage girls, is currently serving a 20-year prison sentence and plans to invoke her Fifth Amendment privilege against self-incrimination and decline to answer all substantive questions, according to Khanna's letter to Representative James Comer. He's the committee chair. Speaking of James Comer, on the agenda today, we're also supposed to be getting an update and press conference from Representative Comer. So once we get those remarks or anything like that, we will bring you them here at Live Now from Fox. I want to refer now and just take a look at some video that we have here, file video of Ghislaine Maxwell, just to put a face to this entire story. Reuters goes on to say this, that Maxwell...
And she is a ugly broad, ain't she? Just saying.
Maxwell's attorney did not immediately respond to a request for comment on Sunday. Instead of answering individual questions, Maxwell plans to read a prepared statement at the beginning of her deposition. Khanna, who serves on the committee, had said this.
These people just make my stomach turn, you know?
This without detailing the source of his information. The California Democrat, writing in his letter seeking clarification on her testimony, wrote, quote, "This position appears inconsistent with Ms. Maxwell's prior conduct, as she did not invoke the Fifth Amendment when she previously met with Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche to discuss substantially similar subject matters." Maxwell's deposition comes as the U.S. Department of Justice has released millions of internal documents related to Epstein, and that was a press conference that we aired for you when the DOJ said it was going to be releasing millions more pages over those files. I do have here on your screen, I want to bring up the letter from Representative Ro Khanna that I was just referencing. So here you see a screenshot of the letter on your screen. He also writes in a statement that Ghislaine Maxwell trafficked and abused hundreds of young girls. I will not rest until we have answers and survivors are granted justice. She is invoking the Fifth at tomorrow's oversight deposition, which again is happening today. My letter to Representative James Comer lists the questions I want Maxwell to answer. Now I'm just going to read.
Wow. Okay. So they're already claiming she's invoking the Fifth at tomorrow's oversight deposition. So
read a couple of questions for you.
Kind of called that.
You here because I do have the printout in my hand. So he says this in regards to those questions. The first one being, on December 17th, 2025, you filed a habeas corpus petition stating that 4 named co-conspirators and 25 men who entered into secret settlements were not indicted as part of the investigation. Is that statement accurate? Another question he plans to ask are, who are the 4 co-conspirators and the 25 men other than Jeff?
What's up, Joseph, my man, up there in Canada, by the way, just got to say. Hopefully you're enjoying your Monday morning so far. And yeah, that's a fair question, I suppose.
Epstein,
absolutely.
who sexually abused minors at Epstein's Island, his New Mexico ranch, or his New York residence. And why do you believe they were not indicted? And then another question would be, what information, evidence, or personal knowledge do you have regarding why these individuals were not charged or prosecuted by federal authorities? Now, Representative Khanna has a total of 6 questions that he wished to ask. And
real quick, we got Bree in the chat as well. Good morning. Hopefully you're enjoying your Monday morning so far as well.
In this letter, he tells
Good morning.
The Honorable James Comer that he knows that Maxwell is planning to invoke that Fifth Amendment to not have to answer any of those questions. We're expecting a couple of cameras to be posted around the country.
Called that shit. All right, we're moving on to our last story here. Vice President Vance visits Armenia, a first for the U.S. leadership. Now, says Vice President J.D. Vance landed in Armenia on Monday, which is today, a country that no sitting U.S. vice president or president has visited before. All right, so let's go ahead and bring this up, and this will be our final story for the morning. And I will quickly look for us for someone for us to raid.
In Ukraine, we are also seeing that Vice President J.D. Vance walking into this shot as he meets with officials in Armenia.
Damn.
Let's watch this live.
Shit.
Honorable Vice President, I welcome you and the delegation led by you. I welcome you to the Republic of Armenia. Your visit is truly historic because you are the first U.S. Vice President and the most senior U.S. official to ever visit the Republic of Armenia.
That's awesome.
And I think that this is not just a protocol thing, but it also reflects the developments that in recent years, and especially in the course of the last year, have taken place in the relationship between Armenia and the United States. And I had the opportunity once earlier to tell you to underscore my meeting with you in the White House a year ago. Time was later to show that this meeting had significance for events to come. And I would like to express my gratitude to the United States President, Mr. Trump, and to yourself for last year in August organizing the summit, as a result of which Armenia and Azerbaijan established peace.
What's up, Chasing Ghost? Good morning.
And our impression is, and I've had the opportunity to share this with you a few days ago, we had a meeting with the president of Azerbaijan in Abu Dhabi. Our impression is that this peace, as one may say, we are very close to the point.
I don't follow them, and I just set it up. What you got to do is send me their link or whatever on Discord or whatever the case is, so that I can subscribe anyways. And then we'll set it up sometime when they're live, whenever they go live as well. Because obviously if they're live right now, they go live around this time. So I have it set up for tomfoolery, actually. I saw that he's live, so we're going to raid over to Tom this morning.
If not there yet, the point of no return, the point that is irreversible. It is now our main task to implement one of the most important parts of the peace agreement and the Washington summit, the TRIP project, in accordance with the framework that Armenia's Foreign Affairs Minister and the U.S. State Secretary adopted on January 14. This was adopted between the two governments, and our agenda is very abundant. I once again welcome you. Welcome to the Republic of Armenia.
Yeah, but in all fairness, Johnny, I do have it sped up a little bit. It's 1.25 times playback speed.
Armenia. And of course, we have a lot to discuss today, and it's very important that these discussions...
What's up, Kelly? Yeah, just obviously don't try your damnedest not to break TOS.
Are fully a positive agenda, and this positive agenda fully reflects the strategic partnership that our relationship has and covers. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Mr. Prime Minister, and thank you to the gathered delegation. You have a great team. Unfortunately, we had a private meeting earlier, and we solved all the issues we needed to solve, so this meeting is totally unnecessary.
Yeah, shit.
But let me say first that the President sends his best to you personally, but also to the people of Armenia. The Prime Minister has been a great friend of ours and a real ally in peace and development in this region of the world, so we're very grateful for the friendship and for the partnership. I know there's a lot to discuss, a lot we're going to be announcing, I believe, at the next press event that we do, so I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. Let me just say this is a beautiful country. I feel incredibly grateful to be here. I'm thankful for the personal welcome, not just to me personally, but also to my family. This is, of course, one of the oldest Christian cultures in the entire world, and so I feel a great amount of affinity to the people of Armenia, but also to you and to your administration. I think that we really do have an opportunity not just to create a historic peace that can last, as you said, one that could reach the point of no return. I believe that we are at the point where we could actually have Armenia serve as an important anchor for economic development in this region of the world, which will both persist and maintain the peace agreement, but also could lead to a lot of prosperity for the people of Armenia, and importantly to me, to the people of the United States. So we're going to keep on working on these things. I know this visit is just an important step. I'm honored to be the first Vice President to come to Armenia, and I know that we'll have many important and good discussions over the next few hours. So thank you all. Thank you, Mr. Prime Minister.
Looks like that's going to be the end of it.
All right, so as you see here, U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance making some joint comments there with officials in Armenia. They have been meeting all day, and they're going to continue this meeting, but in a closed-door setting, and as you saw.
Yep, that's where the shutdown happens. All right, so listen, ladies and gentlemen, I can't thank each and every single one of you guys enough. Obviously, I cannot do this without you guys. I know that sounds cliche as fuck, but it's absolutely true, and I'm very appreciative to be able to do this Monday through Friday. And then, of course, Saturday morning for members only, man. So listen, stick around. We're going to be raiding our buddy Tom Foolery. Let him know we're coming through with the Mike Ball raid. He is a lefty lunatic, by the way, but he's a nice guy, okay? I like the dude. I met him in person, hung out with him even. But anyways, go raise hell. Go have fun over there. Let him know we're coming through. And listen, we'll be back tomorrow morning for more of the world's madness, of course. Until then, God bless everyone. We'll see you guys very soon.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a
Damn, Krona, let's go. Thank you for that, bro. Legend.